Hi, we are
Letters from Jett.
And we're your guests
on Music Studio Live.
Coming up on this episode of Music Studio Live. All right off the gate, I gotta know what the heck is Letters from Jett? Why that name?
How long is this interview?
I know.
And there's like times in the studio where I go, hey, let's try this. And I always said there's never a bad idea. There's just always a better idea. And we would always try everything.
Yeah.
Because I think you're cheating yourself.
I'll write something too, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. So I'll send it to everybody, and yeah, it's great. And Tracy's over there, quit sending me stuff.
Rolling. Here we go. Hi guys, my name is Darrell. I'm a drummer and producer, and I started a podcast with my friend Sarah called Music Studio Live. Together we talk with singer-songwriters and music makers about all things related to music. We hope you enjoy the show, and here we go. Hello and welcome to Music Studio Live. I'm Darrell Nutt, and this is my amazingly talented mom gave birth to a new baby boy, Sarah Hadeka. No, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
For Connor Hamish Williams.
Yes.
Is the third boy.
Third little Williams boy.
A lot of testosterone in her household.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm a good boy mom for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not really one of those people who can braid hair or I don't really like the color pink and stuff like that.
Well, there you go.
So, it's fine. We're good. We're good.
Today's guest is Letters from Jett. I should say are. Today's guests are Letters from Jett because there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know my singular and my plurals so good.
But it is one band, so you could say is.
Letters from Jett is a band. They're awesome. We played one song with them, then they played a song by themselves. And if you subscribe to us on Patreon, you can see the third song that they did acoustically in the bonus features for $3 a month. $3.
A mere $3.
You get all this extra stuff.
You can't even get Starbucks for $3.
No. And the extra features and everything keeps growing with every episode.
That's
Bloopers,
right.
photos, everything. So that's a positive note, how we're starting now. I do have to say something. I want to pay remembrance to my uncle that passed away on January 15th of this year. He was a bluegrass aficionado. He had his own bluegrass radio show. He went to all the big bluegrass events and was an MC at them. He performed at them. He's loved by many, many people. The outpouring of remembrances, or however you say that, the outpouring of
just the stories and things like that, the condolences that you've got.
Condolences, that's the word I was thinking of. He and I got to bond at Christmas time, 2 weeks before he passed away. We had reconnected, and he was telling funny stories, and he does funny voices. And
oh, that's great.
So, Lester.
Go ahead.
We have Kieran in the studio to bring happiness to us. Good boy. But, yeah, my Uncle Lester Sears, love you, buddy. Rest in peace. On a positive note, another positive note, we had a nice little article in Fort Myers Magazine, if you could see that.
Yay.
I want to thank Andrew Elias and Cindy Jo Dietz for asking us to have an article written about us. It was amazing.
It's a really great article, actually.
It's all about the podcast and pretty much a look into we have Connor over here. He's a big fan of the podcast in Fort Myers Magazine.
Oh, man.
Also, before we get into our little intro here, I do want to thank Mike and Jess from evokestudio.io and Brent Billman. They are our production crew.
Yep.
And we could not do this without them.
No, they're incredible.
They're just amazing. I want to thank them and their families for allowing them to give a generous amount of time to shoot photos, to film.
Absolutely.
And Brent stays with us when we do the conversation, and he's running all the cameras all at the same time.
Yep.
And guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are they're so positive and just bring such an amazing element to the studio whenever we're recording the podcast and everything. And then also their critical eyes once we put the podcast together and everything, they're so great. So they have such
it's the perfect team,
wonderful feedback. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with them.
And it's even more amazing because they're literally 2 doors down the hall from us, and I haven't bothered them at all. I haven't.
Isn't that so funny?
Asked for any extra favors other than the podcast.
I bothered them to do a milk bath photo shoot with me.
That's true. What's it like in a milk bath?
It was nice, actually.
Are you
yeah.
lactose intolerant?
I like milk.
Okay.
It's totally fine. But basically, you fill up a bathtub and put a couple gallons of milk in there.
Oh, it's not all milk.
It's not all
water
milk.
And then
it's
a little
water
bit of
with
milk.
some milk.
So it's
and
like
a bunch of flowers
like
and right, exactly. It pretty much is. It's very watered down for sure. But yeah.
At the end, did you put Cheerios in there
and eat from it? I should have. I don't know what I was thinking. It was so funny.
So how have you been? You look great. You just had a baby.
I'm good. I mean, really, I'm pretty tired, but I think that whatever it is that happens to the female body after having a baby,
relief
is that. Oh my gosh, adrenaline. Yeah, but I mean, I've felt pretty good considering the amount of sleep that I have not been getting. So. Yeah. But it's a whole new experience for me. It's difficult to get out of the house now.
You were 2 hours.
I know. I kept pushing back the time of coming here to do the intro this morning. So it's so funny. Now it's the afternoon.
Well, one thing I would like to point out.
Yes.
As soon as life calms down a little bit, you're a singer-songwriter. We need to work on some
I was
music.
thinking of that, actually.
Now's the time.
I really was thinking about that. I think a lot of times when you are an artist or, a songwriter and things like that, it's easy to write music and then not listen to it for a long time. You know what I mean?
Do the podcast.
Well, hey, bud, it'll be all right. You're good.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But so what I'm trying to get at is that it had been a long time since I'd listened to any of the music that we had worked on together, a number of years ago. But yesterday I was in the car for a little road trip and I listened to a handful of the songs. I was like, wow, they're so great and I need to do more.
Yep.
So it's inspiring actually. I inspired myself.
You know what I did? Because I was working on this episode with Letters from Jett. While I'm editing and looking through everything, not when I'm mixing the music, but when I'm editing the conversation, I actually put on Spotify and listened to all of our podcasts over the course of 6 hours.
Yeah.
And they went together really nice. And it's been a year.
Yeah, it has been.
Actually.
Woo!
It's been a year. And we have 7 episodes out. Literally, it was February of last year when we had the idea. So it all flowed really nicely. And
good.
And the performances are just, these guys are awesome. I can't wait to see who else we get.
Me too. I know. I keep thinking about that. I have all these ideas of people who could come in here.
And there's a lot of irons in the fire for who's going to come on.
Exactly.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's just you get a week's notice maybe that, yes, this person can do it. So we have to learn the songs and I have to do some research. You have to do some research. And we have to get everybody's schedule together because the artist might only have one day they can do it. But if our crew can't do it, then we can't do it.
Exactly.
Because it would be a horrible mess if we had to do this ourselves without our help of our friends.
It actually would be kind of comical.
Well, that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, guys, looking forward to sharing Letters from Jett with you. And again, go to Patreon and Patreon/Music Studio Live. It's on our website, musicstudiolive.com. And we are on Instagram and the Twitter and all the internets.
All the
social medias. And we thank you. Here's number 7. Anything you want to say?
I don't know. It seems like he wants to say something.
That's who I'm talking to. You're tuned into Music Studio Live. Today's guest is right over here, and it is a band called Letters from Jett, and they are amazing. Killer. I guess you'd call it roots country rock-ish. I don't know what the labels. Who cares about labels? How's that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Labels.
So, guys, thank you for being here. We cut a couple songs already, and they were killer. Awesome. I can't wait to share it with the world. I got to see these guys what was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
For a few songs. Holy crap! We have. Let me introduce everybody. We have Heath on lead vocals and rhythm guitar.
Yep.
We have Gunnar, his little brother,
me.
baby brother. And we have he's on drums. We have Trace on guitars and vocals, and we have Luke on bass and vocals. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
All right, right off the gate, I gotta know what the heck is Letters from Jett? Why that name?
How long is this interview?
I know.
I'll start it and then you can finish it because I think you kind of had that. Looking for names, we literally said, okay, we got to have a name because the band had a name before. We decided we're going to start fresh.
Right.
We started doing this record because it was something totally different and new. So we decided that we were all going to kind of take a few days, write down as many names as we could think of, and we're going to get together one day, which turned into like 9 days, and just start throwing names out. And the only thing that I had said is I just want something big like Rocket or Jet or something big. And I think Gunnar was the one that put it all together.
Yeah, so I like documentaries.
Yeah.
So I found a documentary on the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And somewhere along the way, after John Wilkes Booth gets away on his horse with his broken leg, when you cross from town to town, I guess back in those days, it was like they had a border guard or something.
Right.
And so there was a curfew. You couldn't go in and across after like 9 o'clock or something.
Okay.
So he comes up there and it's like after a curfew and the dude's like, hey, you can't do that or whatever. And whatever. The dude was like, against my better judgment, I just let him go. So he just let him go. Then the next thing you know, the Pinkertons show up and they're like, have you seen this man? He's like,
John Wilkes Booth.
that way.
Wow.
So, I don't know. What's the deal on it? Like
The guy was basically...
The guy that was at the border thing, his name was William Jett.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So then Trace did some research and was like, oh, that's really cool, Jett.
This really is a long story, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a long story. I don't know.
the guy ended up going crazy.
He went
okay.
Shortcut. He ended up writing letters to like President...
So there are letters from Jett.
He got put in
Gotcha.
the nut house
he had syphilis
of the brain.
of the brain.
Okay.
So the guy was like writing letters to the president, like, afterwards, like, hey, this is what you need to do. I'm going to help you save the country. And
But it was all like crazy rambles.
So there really was. So Letters from Jett was William Jett. And the other part of the story is the band's name before was called Willie Stradlin. And everybody thought Heath's name was Willie.
Right.
So he's always been Willie to us. So
he's still Willie.
So he's still Willie, but now he's Willie Jett.
Like Mr.
Awesome.
Steely Dan.
It's one of those, yeah, exactly. So it's one of those Mr. Pink Floyd.
Mr. Pink
One
Floyd.
of those things that just kind of all came together. And as soon as we said it, the 25 pages of notes we had for different names were kind of like,
Yeah, you found it.
We're done.
It's a great name. It is.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is
You
great.
said that.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's weird though, because once you settle on a name, you realize that's the name.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
Right.
it.
that's it. You can't like 2 weeks later go, okay, how about want to change it? You just got to stay with it.
Yeah, man. Cool.
We may have
I
that
like-
story printed on the back of a business card.
That's right.
On a business
Yeah,
card.
you can read it.
Save a lot of storytelling.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
I still like Molt Fosterson.
There's some really
Molt
funny
Foster.
names.
I don't know if that's going to catch on.
That's pretty good.
Well, we're going to talk about songwriting because that's part of the podcast, and you guys did 2 of your original songs, and your album is called. Where I put it here, I actually know Heartbreaks and Hangovers, because apparently you guys had a lot of heartbreaks and hangovers. Yeah,
Makes the world go round.
there you go, man. Yeah,
Autobiographical.
yeah, man. So Heath, a little history about you. You started as a drummer,
Yeah.
and where are you from?
Cecil, Arkansas.
Cecil, Arkansas.
Yeah. It's
US 41.
it's just north of Peter Pender.
I never heard of Peter Pender.
It's good.
We just like to say that.
It is a fun name, yes.
Funny.
If you go past my house and down the road, you run into the Arkansas River, and that's as far as you can go.
Wow, awesome.
One way in, one way
One
out.
way in. So what
Interesting.
got you start playing drums?
Well, that's a good story. I was probably 12, 13, and kind of got the itch, wanted to play music. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I thought
You're too shy to play guitar.
I thought I wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
And told parents, Christmas is coming up. Hey, boy, I'd like to have this guitar, Anyway, I didn't think nothing else about it. Christmas time come around and no guitar, and I was bummed out. I
Yeah.
was like, man.
And they said, hey, we need you to go out there in the shop and get some wood or something. to
Oh,
bring back in
they
the house."
surprised you.
Yeah, I walked out there, there's a drum kit. And I'm thinking,
Huh.
I didn't want a drum kit.
Yeah.
I wanted
Exactly.
a guitar. But anyway, I loved it. And so that's why I got started on
And
that.
Gunnar, I think you got started because your brother was a drummer.
I guess. I don't remember. I started when I was like 3 or so. So
Yeah.
I don't remember not playing.
Yeah,
I don't have a memory not playing. It's my whole life.
I know what that feels
Interesting.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was playing in bars at 16.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, me too.
30 years ago.
Well, trying to play in bars, hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, my mom had to get signed statements from the governor of New York so I could play in a bar on stage with her.
Oh, really?
She was in the bar with me. We still had to get for like a 6-month period. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's hard for young musicians out there.
Yeah, it is.
Can't do anything.
Everything's YouTube now, anyway.
Well, yeah.
True.
So, now, Gunnar, you played with THC, which is a very, I looked them up, very heavy metal
Is it
driven
really?
rock, southern rock kind of heavy metal. I don't even know how to describe that.
I don't either.
I tell you what, though, really cool stuff. Not as cool as this band, of course, but I meant to say more technical stuff. A lot of technical stuff in that band. It seems like.
Yeah. It was technical, but it was natural. It was like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is how that feels right, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
Nothing was ever too hard to do with those guys. It was kind of like playing with these guys. Just, hey, crank your amps up, you know, play a little chunkier.
Well, this has got to be a little bit more natural with your brother on stage with you.
Yeah, I guess.
And you worked with Luke before too, right?
Yeah, Luke and I, we've done a couple of different projects together, and then that was kind of where Luke came into the picture.
For this band,
We were
yeah.
doing some projects together, and like, well, we're doing this band now. Just come over here. So
Well, yeah, that brings me to Trace. Now, did they just come to you to record, or did Heath just come to you to record? And because you weren't in the band initially.
No, I was actually I was living in Oklahoma, just over the border from Arkansas, and I had my own studio. And when I was looking for something to do, I was looking for somebody that was worth.
That's good, yeah.
That was good. I mean, because it's like I want to do something that's meaningful. And
Yeah.
this mutual friend we had said you should just come sit in with these guys one night, and usually that never turns out very well.
I understand
Like, all
completely.
right,
So do
like,
you, Sarah.
and he gave me a CD, and I literally 10 seconds in, I just turned it off and I went, oh, I'm going.
Oh, cool.
Because I felt you could just, it's like it doesn't take much to know that there's something there.
Yeah,
And
Right.
for sure.
I felt like an instant connection with these guys. And so the funny thing is the mutual friend was the guy that was playing guitar, and we ousted him and they kept me.
Oh. Is he still your friend?
Not after
No, he's not?
interview.
Okay.
Nah.
We won't say his name then.
It didn't end very well. It never does.
I thought there were a couple things funny about you guys because Heath, Gunnar, Trace, Luke. You guys are like right from a Western.
Or the disciples.
Or yeah, okay.
Or the Bible.
But there's a few other things too. Like you live on route or US 41, and the other thing is the song lyric from Route 66 from Chicago to LA. That was your story.
Yeah.
So you have a background, Trace, in you were explain what you did in LA, because you and I have some multiple friend connections through that.
Yeah, you might want to get a little more specific, because to tell you what I did in LA is going to take about 4 years.
Okay. Were you guitar teching for anybody?
Yeah, well, I had a record deal that kind of went south, and then I got an offer to go do some studio stuff with a couple people that were just looking for somebody to help them out in the studio, and I was like, well, it sure beats having to look for a real job. I ended up teching for some people, and I ended up working with Melissa Etheridge. I went in the studio with her, and then.
Awesome.
It was awesome. I mean, it was amazing because we just kind of really gelled together. And I spent 13 years with her.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So then it became the point where I was her guitar tech. And then when she went on tour, I did guitar, and then I would play keyboard and guitar during the show.
Oh, so you actually
That's
toured
awesome.
with her?
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, for 13
Awesome.
years. And then it was amazing. I mean, I learned so much,
Yeah.
And I did a lot of studio stuff. So that's kind of where my background comes from. I've worked with a lot of big producers. And
Is Melissa Etheridge your connection with Kelly Neff?
yes, that's how I met Kelly. 'Cause
Yeah.
Actually, last year I hadn't seen Melissa in probably over 10 years. And they would call me once in a while and go, hey, she's looking for somebody. You want to come come do some stuff? And I was always like, no. And I couldn't do it. And they called me, and they always give you that. I know you're going to say no, and I went, I can do that. And they're like, what? So I went and did a bunch of, like 3 months with Melissa or whatever.
So that brought you down here, which you met Kelly. And Kelly, she's an awesome friend of ours and very talented singer-songwriter.
She opened for us that show.
Exactly. I was supposed to do that with her on percussion.
Oh, okay.
But she's the one that kept saying, you got to hear these guys, you got to hear them. And I looked you up, I'm like, these guys are great. So yeah, let's figure out how to get 4 extra people in the studio.
Yeah.
It's the first time we recorded with a full band. It was awesome. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I have sisters, just like you guys are brothers. And we're musical together, and we've been on stage and just, I don't know, I've burst out laughing at my sister in front of a giant audience and things like that before. Do you guys ever have anything like that happen while you're in front of
Crack each
a
other
live crowd? Do you ever get into arguments?
They do not fight.
No?
Never.
They're not like...
Never.
Isn't that funny?
All I gotta do is turn around and look at him, and he's straight right up.
We've all got that look.
That's great. Yeah,
It's like we
that
just got
I
that.
usually
laser eye
laugh at
kind
him
of
the
thing.
whole show. Because there's stuff that he does that nobody catches, but me, they might catch some stuff sometimes, but usually he'll do a thing, and then he'll turn around and face me at the drum kit and just...
That's great. That's great.
Oh, no. Did anybody see that? No, it's just me. Okay,
I love
whatever.
it.
It's all night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's the age difference between you two?
18 years.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you basically grew up right when he was out of the house.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't around.
They kicked
really.
him out, and I got his room.
Yeah.
I was
My
pretty
nursery.
much, I was pretty much hit the road.
Well, I have an older brother,
Time, so.
and being a younger brother, you always inherit your older brother's records and music collection. Did that happen with you guys? Did you share music at all?
We didn't share.
I don't know. I don't
What's
remember.
mine is mine. What's
That's
his
funny.
is his?
I was gone for a few years because I was on the road playing, and we would tour like 6-8 weeks at a time, and then we'd be in for a week and then go back out. So I went home a whole
You
lot.
went home,
All my stuff was in my apartment, and then I ended up getting married somewhere around that time.
Hence the record, Heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Everything went with me to wherever, so I don't know if he grabbed anything but our parents had a huge record collection.
Yeah, you grew up in a good
Yeah.
musical home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of vinyl.
They
Mom's
must have.
like,
They got the really similar taste in music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he showed me a couple bands and then was like, oh yeah, I love those. And then I branched off on my own.
Took it from there, yeah.
Like, oh,
Interesting.
Guns N' Roses and this and Megadeth and whatever.
Did he force you to listen to stuff? Like my brother forced me to listen to his.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, you're gonna like this. Listen
No.
to it. It's like,
No, he wasn't over there. So it was like, oh, hey, I found some CDs. What is Lies? What is that? Or what's Megadeth? What is that?
Megadeth.
Nice.
Megadeth.
Yeah, well, I grew up with digging through records, and it was Buddy Holly and
Yeah.
So I was gonna say,
Shot on,
mom's like,
Beach Boys.
mom brought
Right.
us into like, you have to listen to doo-wop and here's Frankie Valli and the Temptations
Yeah.
and the
Wow.
Platters and everybody, and then
There's a lot of that in our CD. There's a lot of stuff that's in there that
it's like that
you don't
influence.
notice.
Yeah.
The influences are
A
all
lot of good harmonies in your
Interesting.
record.
Yeah, there's a
And you actually, on Southern Tune, you actually talk about all the
Yeah,
different, the Buddy Holly and
Yeah.
Skinnerd and all that stuff.
yeah.
Cool.
and then we had the doo-wop with the vocals in there.
Yep,
And it,
yep.
It kind of puts it all together.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
We saw us. I don't know if you saw us do that song live. We go kind of stretch that song out and include some other stuff from some other band.
Yeah.
We just
Well, the song I saw, you started with Purple Rain.
there you go.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And then it led
nice.
into their other
That's
songs.
true.
That's awesome.
Well, while we're on that topic, I when I listened to the album I listened to it this morning actually twice, and I was really hit. I put down a couple, Very Restless Heart. Remember that band?
Yes.
Harmony wise.
Yep.
In Southern Pacific, and do you remember the Bama Band?
Yes.
Hank Jr.'s back.
Yep.
I was getting all those influences from you guys. I'm loving it because I grew up just wearing out cassette tapes of those guys back in late '80s, mid '80s. You don't even know who those bands are. But And Confederate Railroad, a buddy of mine's a guitar player with Confederate Railroad, and I heard some of that influence in
I
there
just
too.
played with them a couple.
Oh, did you?
Ago. Yeah.
I don't know
Wow.
if Jimmy Dormeyer's that was the guitar player. I don't know if he's still with him, but he was with him for the whole 80s and 90s type stuff.
I don't know. I didn't talk to anybody. I hung out with the singer and we talked about some TV show all day.
Yeah, cool.
Then we played the show and I left.
Cool. Well, what would be a guilty pleasure of music that... I'm going to ask Luke this first.
Yeah, you go first.
Luke, what is something that you like to listen to that just makes you happy? It could be something they think would make you happy, or
It's like
or something
so-
just totally off the wall. That
so different than what we do. I like Andrew Bird and who else? Chris Thiele. It's all really acoustic.
Yeah.
Right.
bluegrass
Right.
music,
And I don't even know either of those people.
See, there you go. That's your guilty pleasure then.
Yeah. Yeah. it's
Gunnar, what
yeah.
would be your guilty pleasure that these guys don't know about that you like to listen to?
I force them to listen to everything.
Oh, you do?
Whether they like it or not. So, I mean, everything's kind of a guilty
He knew all
pleasure.
the Backstreet Boys names, I think, earlier today. Was
No.
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
like
NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys.
NSYNC, that's what
NSYNC?
They were I like those guys. If I had a guilty pleasure, it'd be like some, I don't know, just put on any doo-wop, anything like
Doo-wop.
that. Or
Interesting.
Like
Flock of Seagulls.
no. Well, yeah, Space Age Love Songs is really good. I like Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that Mel McDaniel,
Oh, there you go.
Baby's Got Her Blue Jeans.
Yeah,
On.
man.
I was like, we should play that, and they said, no.
I said, that's probably the worst song I've ever
Old school country, man.
It's like, that's a good one, man. Come on. They don't
What about-
ever want to play what
What about you, Trace?
I've kind of, just depends kind of the mood and what I'm doing.
Sure.
If I'm working on something in the studio, I want to keep my head clear, so I go totally opposite what I am.
NPR.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I don't even listen to music in my car because I run as well. So when I go running, I that's when all my ideas for what we're working on comes into my head, and
Yeah.
I just kind of jot down mental notes like this song needs to go here or go there, and it kind of. But I would say my favorite music is like I like bands like Bowling for Soup and The Offspring and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I just,
okay.
really
Yeah.
just because I don't take it serious, so it's just kind of fun, and because I don't enjoy music that way, because what I do is I pick it apart. And
I know exactly what you're
Right.
saying.
You know,
Yeah.
it's I'm so technical now that everything to me is for a reason, or how do they do that, or how do I do that, and it kind of, especially like live concerts, I don't even go anymore because I'm always going, oh, that's a track, that's
Yeah.
that's not.
Right.
Well, that's why you connected with them when you heard them right away. It wasn't, you didn't pick it apart, you felt it.
I had Melissa had introduced me to Bruce Springsteen once, and I remember that I kind of walked into the room before I had met him, and that's when she did her MTV thing, and he came out with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in the room, and I really did. I felt this kind of vibe. I can't even explain it. It was just like tingly, prickly, and then all of a sudden, the C part of there, he was just sitting there, and all these people, and it was like, it was.
He was being a regular dude too, wasn't he? It's
Yeah,
just
and
it's
it was
just him.
You just knew, and I tell everybody, I said, when I met these guys, there was just that same thing was there, and I can't even. I just knew that whatever it took, and I knew it was going to take a lot. We're going to do this, one
Yeah.
way or the other, and we played that show or two, and we just said, listen, let's, and it was great because we're so receptive to each other, which is really hard. You've been in bands, it's like one guy goes, well, this, and the other guy goes, well, that's ridiculous, that's stupid. Then there's a fight.
Right.
No,
Well, from what I heard, you guys play for the song, not for yourselves.
yeah. And there's like times in the studio where I'd go, hey, let's try this. And I always said there's never a bad idea. There's just always a better idea. And we would always try everything.
Yeah.
Because I think you're cheating yourself if you don't at least, we would do real efforts. We wouldn't do it halfway.
Experiment a little bit.
We would. And then half the time I would edit it all out and we'd laugh about it. But hey, at least it was there if you needed it.
Okay, Heath, guilty pleasure.
James Brown.
Oh, can't go wrong with James.
Love James.
Can you do a wide
You
shot
should
and get his
see him do-
James
you
Brown
should see-
dance?
I don't have my boots on, man. Right now.
From the boogaloo.
I don't have my hot pants on.
Well, guys, let's talk about the first song we did, Leave Me Alone. Sarah played piano and I played shaker and tambourine. Very excited about that, by the way. I didn't have to learn the drum part for a change. It was great. Explain that song. We've all been in that place where, whether it's addiction or depression or just pissed off at somebody, you just want to be left alone. How did that song come about, Heath?
Yeah, it was, well, I'm strumming. What usually happens is I strum and find a pattern that I like, and then the first thing that pops in my head, whatever that first line is, and I build off that.
So somebody bothered you and you
Interesting.
said, just leave me the hell alone. I
Yeah,
want
so I build it like a book. Start at chapter 1 and verse, chorus. That's the way I write all that stuff. I can't, I know a lot of people write the chorus first.
Right.
Yeah.
And they build around
a hook.
that.
They find the hook first.
But I'm the opposite. I start at the front and I work my way to the end of it, and in one sitting. Has to be. If I don't, it's...
So you write a song in
Interesting.
15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I told him a story about Veronica Lake, my favorite actress. Oh, I just love her from like the 40s. And literally like the next day, he's like, I got a song. And he played it and it was like, that was amazing. It'll be on the next record. It's so amazing. I was like, whenever he just gets focused, man, he just
Really?
goes.
So it's like
awesome.
the whole thing that if you try too hard, the things they don't work
yeah,
out.
it doesn't
Some
work.
people really, really study the craft of it, and they have co-writes 4 times a week, and
Right.
and that's cool. That is a system that does work. But a real gift is somebody that can just sit down and then a song that's moves people comes out in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I've co-written several songs, but it's not comfortable for me.
It's not your way you want to do it.
I can never get the feeling that we're on the same page and
Okay.
we're going down the same path.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll want to go that way, and I want to go.
You
this
just say,
way.
just leave me alone, and I'll write
Yeah,
the damn
yeah.
song myself.
But yeah, that. I mean, we've all been around the addiction, and no matter what it is, alcoholism or you're hooked on pills,
Black tar heroin.
well, yeah, whatever, So it was,
Luke.
once that got rolling, it was not hard. It wasn't hard to write that song, because we've all been there.
Can't seem to put the bottle down. It seems like all my life that I've been running back and forth, around and round. You keep coming round to me, oh baby. You're coming round and you just won't die. You got me thinking I'm drinking just for the sake of drinking. Why won't you leave me alone? You take my hand and you lead me to the bottle. Why won't you leave me alone? Leave me alone. That's been every last time to have you, baby. Do without to have a drink. And I could lose my car, my home, but I don't care, baby. Just need you here with me. You keep coming back to me, oh baby. My hands are shaking 'cause I need you now. You got me thinking I'm drinking just for the sake of drinking. Why won't you leave me alone? You take my hand and you lead me to the bottle.
For more information on our guest, visit lettersfromjett.com or on Instagram at lettersfromjett with 2 T's. Would you like to have access to extra songs from our guests, photo galleries, bloopers and outtakes, and behind-the-scenes footage? Well, you can. You can go to patreon.com/musicstudiolive and select the Backstage Pass tier. It's only $3 a month, and you'll have access to every bonus feature from every episode that we have. So go now and get your Backstage Pass to Music Studio Live. That's patreon.com, patreon.com/Music Studio Live.
This is Music Studio Live.
So I have a question about your views. Anybody can answer. About reality singing shows. Because they're kind of all over the place and everybody has an opinion about them.
It's amazing to me how it used to be when you were growing up. It's like you would listen to music and you would learn music, and then you'd get in a band and you would struggle and you would suffer and all of that, like he said, all of that becomes part of you. Mm-hmm. And now it just seems a lot of people can kind of learn how to sing. There's a lot of great singers. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's great singers. But I just feel that they've lost that whole part of the soul, and that it's hitting notes, and it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave Grohl says everybody should get a crappy amp and a crappy guitar and go in a garage and play for 3 years.
Are this high off the neck, and you can't play, and your buddy's just as bad, and his bass and drums.
You got to pay some dues, man.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, for sure.
Well, the thing that started for me too is I hear this term. They said, "Oh, you should hear this 14-year-old blues guitar player," and I went.
He ain't lived the blues.
That doesn't
I said,
sense.
unless he's living in a dumpster
Right.
and his family's homeless, he's probably not a 14-year-old blues player.
Yeah.
I play all the licks, don't get me wrong. I mean,
sure. He's mimicking, though. Somebody like that is
with
mimicking.
YouTube and stuff. I mean, what took us years to learn, kids can learn this stuff in weeks now. And it's great, but it's, again, you're only getting the...
Well, I found there was a 14-year-old girl that came to my studio, and I worked with her. She didn't sound like anybody else. Her writing structure wasn't like anybody else. She wasn't copying anybody. She's never played out live, and it was good.
Old soul.
And it's an old soul, exactly what it is.
Some people had that.
And she sang at in the Macy's Day Parade last year.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people are recognizing her uniqueness. It's really cool.
And then what you used to be able to, perfect example. You get bands like the guys in Aerosmith. Their first record didn't sell anything. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, if you have the first record that doesn't sell anything, you would never get a second record.
Exactly.
You'd be working at the record store. You'd be working at the, somewhat.
The times are definitely different.
Yeah, so it's like there's no time to develop, what I think is important. Yeah. I think it's very, it's very there's just not a lot of depth in your
cookie cutter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys?
It's very superficial.
Do you guys keep up with any of the shows? I watched The Masked Singer.
I watched it.
I watched that
My mom
for about
watches
10
it.
minutes.
But I'm just going to watch the last 5 minutes now because that's all I need.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know who it is.
You know what? I'm hooked on America's Got Talent because it's variety. It's not just singing. It's like the old school variety
That's
contest.
the other thing. It's like
Star Search. Huh?
Star Search.
Yeah, it's like Star Search. Yeah.
But also, it's funny because those people that do go on some of those shows and win, they get these big recording contracts and stuff. They're not making any money. It's all the people that.
Right.
It's the show.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just like.
Well, our very first guest, Casey Weston, was a runner-up on The Voice first season, and she kind of wishes she never did it because they owned her for like 6 years.
I know.
Yeah.
He was going to do it until he got the contract.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
I wasn't going to sign
was that for The Voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say if he signed that contract, all of our music on our album wouldn't belong to us right now.
Good move.
Wow.
Good move.
Yeah.
Oh, that paper you signed for me, by the way?
Yeah.
That record's mine now, boys.
And your car and your house.
I was talking to our guitar rep out in California. Hey, I think I'm going to go do this voice thing, man. If I get on TV, you going to give me a new guitar? And he said, if you get on TV, I'll send you whatever you want. I said, okay. And we were just talking, and he said, so you really going to do that? And I said, well, I don't know, man. I said, I might as well give it a shot, whatever. He said, well, I guess you got to sell your soul from every now and then.
There you go.
I didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah.
Hey, this just went right past me. Anyway, about a week later, I got that contract in, and it was, big old thing. And I was reading through it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm throwing this in the trash. I'm not.
Yeah.
You'd be stupid. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're already an artist that's had a record, and you've been out touring, and you've done this your whole life, you'd be ridiculous if
Yeah.
you just signed
Right.
that contract.
Because then you can't be yourself for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if you don't win, you're out there touring the tours for them.
yeah.
Anything
I mean,
you write's going
if
to be
you're a
theirs.
karaoke singer and that's all you do, and you don't care,
Why
Yeah.
not?
that's fine.
Yep.
Do that.
What do you guys think of the current pop rock trends where they're mixing hip hop elements with country, hip hop banjo elements with EDM, all that stuff? I mean, we're all kind of old school the way we think, but you guys didn't do that with your album, which is awesome. There's no loops, there's no
Right.
I
synthesizer
wanted
sounds.
to, but he wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's roots, man. It's roots.
That's
And everybody plays great on the album, by the way.
Thank you.
I really want to let you know how awesome I think the record
I
is.
told you that's eight solid months.
8 months.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering. Yeah.
Yeah. We had the Gibson guitar rep said to us, he goes, man, your CD's so good. He goes, it's like the Eagles without the Coke. I said, I got to tell everybody.
That is
That's
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we definitely, that's by design. We decided that we're going to keep it real. And we could have done all that stuff. We could have added all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, it's easy to do that stuff. It's hard to get a good take that moves you, and you feel it here.
There's a spot, and if you listen to the song Stoli again, listen to the...
I love the
if you
play on
listen-
words on
if
that
you
one,
listen
too.
to the first verse. Is the first verse? Yeah.
It's throughout it.
It's
It's not just one spot.
He has
It's
a Brian
throughout.
Johnson voice, which is so funny. It's really hard for him to do, but when he gets there, it's great.
I've been
And
practicing. I just walk around and do it.
And I told him, I said, you've got to do that voice in this
People
part of the
probably
song.
think you're crazy.
Right here.
The
Yeah.
mistake of just we're talking about AC/DC, and then I'm joking around. If you've ever seen Jim Brewer do his,
Oh, I love
Brian
Jim's
Johnson.
impression. Yeah.
he's like, "You do the hokey pokey," you know. And then he was like, "You can do that." He's like, "Get in the booth." He's like, "What?" No, and he made me do it. Made me do it. Was it just that song?
Yeah. It sounded like it was kind of like a cross between Nazareth and AC. That
Yeah.
really cool, kind of edgy, growly, smoking Stoli. And it was really cool. And then you could tell after I made
I was
it
like, I
like
sold
4 or 5
myself
times.
out.
I'll listen for it now.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up AC/DC. You know Cliff Williams. He actually had lunch with you guys recently. I've known Cliff since I was 20 years old.
That's amazing.
Wow.
What a great guy, right?
He is an amazing guy. He's been such a great friend all these years, and we played on a couple of records together. We did a tour in Europe together.
That's amazing.
I think it was the only tour he ever did outside of AC/DC in like the last 20 years.
Gosh.
But he's a great guy. And Brian's also a great guy.
Right? They're all great guys.
Yeah. Didn't you do some work with AC/DC?
I'm actually still Angus's guitar tech.
Oh, you're
That's
Angus's
like-
guitar
that's
tech.
like-
Well, that's
the day.
worthy of noting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't know.
Well, maybe not now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
After,
Those guys are amazing guys.
yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, they're amazing
I
guys.
learned so much from those guys too, and it's I've learned a lot of life lessons in this business, and it's like I can show these guys a lot of things, and it's cool because it's like I can say this is what we need to do. If we don't want to do that, even though we think we want to do that,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What would AC/DC do?
Yeah.
What would AC/DC do? That's a new bracelet.
It's a lot of it is like the way that you treat people and respect, and it's an amazing thing, you know. When you
Yeah.
like Cliff, perfect example. He could have been a total jerk, and everyone could have went, well, he's one of the biggest rock bands ever. I can understand why, but no, he's
No,
the
he's
nicest guy.
salt of the earth. Well, we had a party at my old house, and Cliff came out to it, and everybody was drinking and everything. This is like 10 years ago, and he wasn't drinking. I'm like, do you want something? He's like, no, I'm clean for 6 weeks totally. Get ready for a tour.
Amazing, isn't it?
And it's like, but you're the biggest rock star,
Right.
rock band ever. You could do anything you want. He's like, yeah, I'm doing what I want.
That's the reason.
That's
they
the
are.
coolness, you know.
They don't-
Well, let's talk about the song you guys did without our fabulous accompaniment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one that was not quite as good as the first one.
Exactly.
Never Get Lost. That's what that was.
You want to start, Heath? I think you started already.
I guess.
I don't know how to talk about it anyways. So
It's a song about, but again, it just one of them that just came to you, you know, sitting down, here it comes. But once
15 minutes?
yeah, or less.
Yeah,
You know,
less.
so,
That blows my mind.
once I get it going, it I can tell the story and it feels
Yeah.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and I never go back and rewrite except for when he makes me.
There you go.
I made him add a line in there.
Did you?
There's a line, gonna find a little town near Vegas. Because whatever he used to sing before, every time I heard it, I go, does he say Vegas? I'm like, no, he didn't say that.
I know why it was changed. Because, okay, next time you listen to that song, count how many times he says the word baby.
That's not it.
That's the baby song.
I know, but it's the word Vegas. You're going to have to edit this.
He said baby in that line. And you were like, you've already said baby 10 times.
So you changed it to Vegas?
No, because it's the story was telling the story.
Sure.
And I was like, his stories are amazing, but there's always like one little thing. Hey, add this word in there, change this word. And he's like, all right. And then he says, it's so funny. We do it and I go, that's all great. And he goes, that's great. He goes, but I've never been to Vegas.
So you did it for the song. He does it from his heart.
That's from the heart.
Yeah.
So we just kind of looked at each other and went, nah, it's all right.
This week while we've been down here, every night I was thinking, man, I need to say Naples.
Yeah.
There you go. Find a little town there.
There you go.
Change it every time.
I say Vegas and it goes right past us. Vegas.
So you get writer's credit now, Trace, for that one word?
Yeah.
Co-writer?
In the room money.
In the room. We call it in the room money.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, but that's another one that I think a lot of people, that's just about packing up and taking off down the road and starting your life all over, you know?
Yeah.
So
We've all kind of done that, I think, at one point.
Or at least wanted to. Right?
Yes, I was going
Wanted
to say that,
to, yeah.
I've always been a little bit crazy. That's what they say. So how about you and me, baby? Just running away. Take a trip down the interstate. See what we see. We'll find ourselves there, baby. Just you and me. We can chase our dreams, yeah, baby. No matter the cost. It seems so unfair now, baby. Never get lost. Take a look in my eyes now, baby. Take my hand and run away. Let's follow our hearts now, baby. Cares what they have to say. Doesn't matter anyway. Running 80 miles an hour, so don't take it too far. So how about you and me, baby? Stitching this car. We'll find a little town near Vegas, a nice place to stay. It's time we settle down and, baby, chase our cares away. Yeah, we can chase our dreams, yeah, baby. No matter the cost. It seems so unfair now, baby. Never get lost. Take
sure and visit our website at musicstudiolive.com. There you'll find all of our social media links. You're tuned in to Music Studio Live. So you guys are on tour supporting this album, and where are you going next? What states are you going to after this?
Iowa,
Texas, right?
Minnesota.
No,
Texas.
Texas.
Texas shows in Houston actually Thursday.
Then we go up Midwest,
So scattered. a little
Iowa
bit.
and Minnesota and
In Illinois.
Oh wow.
Illinois.
Yeah, nothing better than a February tour of Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, in February.
I think I saw somewhere it's like -40 there.
Oh boy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, sorry, Florida wasn't
I know
super
the
sunny
weather
for you
is
Yeah.
terrible
It
too.
was-
this week anyway.
We've probably been apologized to 50, 60 times over the last
Yeah,
week.
because this is not normal for this time
Yeah.
of
We're
year.
like,
pretty
we'd
grossed out.
apologize, and we like rain.
Yeah.
There's snow on the ground at home, and it's 27
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah, it's freezing up there, so yeah, that's
Nice.
good.
How long have you guys been on tour right now?
We kind of come in and out. We're
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
working on new songs, new material that we're going to eventually get to. He's got
Bunch.
A bunch.
I don't know. I've got notebooks full of stuff that I've been writing over the years, but I need to go back and look at them, see what I got.
Right.
Forget, but I'll write
See if it
something
still hits
new,
you.
and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. So I'll send it to everybody, and yeah, it's great. And Tracy's over there, quit sending me stuff.
Too many.
There's time for that.
this is how amazing this is. I mean, usually people are like, I mean, I've done some serious big albums where the band's like, we got to have one more, and they're all like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Maybe we should do a cover. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
But with Heath, he sent out probably maybe 20, 25 songs, if maybe not even that. Just at first, like a batch of songs. Hey, check it out. And I already grabbed 12. I went, here's the next.
These are the songs.
Wow.
Because everything, well, like the record you listen to, the cool thing about it is when you start it, you can walk away from the record, and it just plays itself through.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to.
That's what it did on Spotify.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just goes, and that's by design. It's supposed to literally be like part of the background. It's not supposed to be one of those things that's supposed to disrupt what you're doing, or this song you got to walk over and fast forward to the next song. There isn't anything on there. That's all by design. We have a song that didn't make the record. It's one of my favorite songs.
It just didn't fit.
It didn't
It's like-
fit. It
yeah.
was.
All of our
Interesting.
favorite songs.
I tried moving it to different positions in the running order, and it just kept pulling my ear. I'm like, it just can't make the
So
record.
will that song be the leading
It's
ideas
actually
for
not-
the next CD?
unfortunately, it's not going to be on the next record.
Oh
either.
wow.
It's because we play it live, but it
Yeah.
just it's we've got like we've got like 3 songs that are like that song. So
Yeah.
eventually we'll do like an EP of
There you go.
those-
That's what I was
yeah.
gonna
Some
say.
bonus tracks.
Oh,
Or something.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Just put out a little short EP
Yeah,
with some
and-
of that special stuff.
and
on it.
but it's important, I think, for us that we kind of focus on what we're doing at the time. Because I mean, growing up in an album era, when you would get an album back when we were kids, albums were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do that fast forward. You didn't pick up the needle and put on the next song. You
Nope.
just sat back and whatever you're doing.
Let it play. Yeah.
and that's-
While you're reading the album cover in the liner
Yes,
notes.
right? And look at the
I know.
line, which you memorize.
Now we're on the iPad on Wikipedia trying to figure out who's playing on the damn album.
Yeah, exactly.
I
But
need
so
to go
that's-
edit that page, by the way. Remind me. Of that.
Exactly. Change people's names. But I grabbed 12 songs out of the first 20 immediately, and I would just put them in a playlist order, and it would just go, yeah, that's it. There's nothing that, and then we start taking them down and figuring out what we're going to do with them.
Yeah. Cool.
So I don't even know what else he has. I don't want to know. I don't, because it's just so much for me to like, I overload because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great stuff.
I'm waiting to drop that rock opera.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to it for a while.
Don't let nobody hear that yet.
Yeah.
But it's great because he can
Can't
play.
wait.
When he plays me a song on acoustic guitar, I hear the song completely finished,
Yeah.
and that's a sign that it's a good song.
Yeah.
And we're
I've
firm
done that
believers
with you before.
if the song doesn't work on acoustic guitar, it's not going to work on anything.
Right?
Period.
Yep.
And that's-
Agreed.
it's
Yeah,
basis.
that's how I write
Agreed.
everything. Everything starts on acoustic.
Yep.
I mean, taking it down to bare bones. I mean, that's where everything comes from.
It's got to work.
Yep.
If that
Yeah.
doesn't work, it's not. Gonna
Well, guys, thank you so much for playing some songs with us and for us, and we wish you the best of luck on your tour and supporting the album. And I can't wait for the next one because this one's already on my playlist.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you.
man.
Yeah, man. Safe travels.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
It's been
us.
great.
Thanks for coming.
Produced in part by evokestudio.io and deafmediagroup.com. Meow. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel now, and then hit the little bell icon for future updates. Music Studio Live is a live performance podcast that also talks with singers, songwriters, and music makers about music, songwriting, and life.